with Nicole. Today I'm going to show you how to make your own natural lotion from scratch. And you're going to love this because once you make this, you can make all kinds of different recipes with your own basic lotion recipe, and it's kind of a springboard for a bunch of other things. So you're going to need a basic carrier oil. I'm using today sweet almond oil. You can use olive oil, almond oil, grapeseed oil, avocado oil, and even fractionated coconut oil. So it just depends on what you want to do, but basically any carrier oil will do. And for the part that I'm going to make, I'm going to do everything about equal proportions. And if you want it to be thicker, then you use less water. If you want it more runny, then more water. It's pretty simple. So we're going to start with a half cup of your carrier oil. Again, I'm using almond oil. Really easy. And then you need something that helps to bind the oil and the water together, which is makes lotion. And so I'm using plant-based emulsifying wax. So the reason why I like this as opposed to beeswax is that I find beeswax separates. The oil and water will separate still. But with this wax, it's a little easier to use, it melts faster, and it doesn't separate, which is really the whole point of what we're doing. So I'm going to use equal parts. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to add about half of a cup to my oil. And so before we go any further, now what we need to do is melt the wax. So you can see here in my pot, it's chunky. And so we're just going to turn it on low heat and melt the wax until it's completely melted. It should take about 10 minutes. Okay, we're back now after completely melting the wax and the oil together. So before I add the water, and then it becomes thick, I want to add a few little things just because I have them and they add some extra benefits to the lotion. So this is the tamanu oil, which is really great for your skin. It's used for stretch marks, acne, rashes, eczema, rosacea, pretty much anything you can think of. And I don't like the smell of it. I've said that before. So I'm only going to use about 2 teaspoons of it. But it's just so good for the skin, and I just happen to have it, so I'm going to use it. I'm going to add a few drops of vitamin E oil, maybe 5 or 6 drops. And then my favorite sea buckthorn oil, again, maybe just like 10 drops, not too much. Again, just for its skin benefits. It's really good for healing tissues of skin, helping to have an anti-aging effect. And then carrot seed oil, I'm actually going to add a little bit more of because this oil has SPF properties, maybe about a 40 SPF is what I have read. We'll see. So I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of this to my batch. And so I want to add all this stuff now because it's easier to blend. Once I put the water in and use my immersion blender, it's going to get really thick. The other thing I'm going to add is just a little bit of essential oils to preserve it. So without the essential oils, you're probably going to need to refrigerate your lotion. And I don't really like to do that. So I'm going to use lavender essential oil just because, you know, I like the scent, but more so for the preservative effect. You can use any essential oil that you like. So the only thing I would suggest you not use is bergamot or any essential oils that have citrus in it because they become photosensitive. So it could increase sunspots. All right, now we have our base with the oils, the wax melted in, our little extra nutrients, and some essential oils as a preservative. It smells really good. So now I'm going to add the water, and I want to add the water cold because it'll thicken it up faster. So this is, again, like we said before, I measured it out equal parts. So this is half of a cup of cold filtered water. And as I do that, you can see in the zoom in camera that it has already started to coagulate. This is from the wax now cooling, and as it's called, emulsifying wax, it binds everything together. So I'm just gonna now take my immersion blender and see if I can whip it up so that it looks nice and creamy. Check it out. Looks like mayonnaise. But I will say that you don't have to have an immersion blender, but an immersion blender is going to make it this creamy consistency, and that's what we want, right? Out of the lotion. So I'm just going to take that and put it back into my jar or any other jar that you want. And as it gets all the way cool, it's going to thicken. So you can find a fancy jar if you want. I'm not getting too fancy because this for me is a base lotion, and I'm going to actually use this lotion to make some other recipes like facial sunscreen and some more stuff like that. So pretty messy. You're going to feel like the mad scientist in the kitchen when you're doing this. So just cap it up, put a lid on it, and ooh, it smells good and it actually feels really nice. So if you like that video, give it a thumbs up and make sure you click the subscribe button and the little bell for notifications so that you don't miss any of my new videos.